Hi, I'm Lisa Bontrager, and I'd like to just talk a few minutes with you about the correct hand position for the bell of the horn and muting and stopping the horn. Some of the things that horn players have to do all the time. So why is the right hand in the bell in the first place? That's because historically the horn had no valves. The valves were invented in about the middle of the 1800s, so that's pretty late, and it took a while for people to actually like the sound of the valves and not the natural horn or the hand horn that people were accustomed to at the time. So let me show you. We're going to pretend I have no valves, and I'm going to show you the right hand in the bell and its use back in the day of Mozart in the classical period and even into the early Romantic. So this is a scale with no valves at all on the F side, using my right hand to shorten and lengthen the horn to get those notes that are in between the overtones. So the right hand is an integral part of the instrument. It needs to be shaped about like a shallow cup. So if you were going to go to a stream and get a drink, about that shape. And another way to check your hand position is to put it right on the crown of your head, which has just a little rounding, and that is the shape of the hand. The thumb is next to the hand. There's no opening. It's next to the hand and it stays there. And the part of the hand that touches the horn is the outside of your fingers. So it's kind of a strange setup, but here's the bell of the horn. This I call 12 o'clock. This I call 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and the hand goes about at 3 or 4 o'clock. And if you can see, the weight of the instrument is on my thumb in the top of my hand. And my hand is absolutely open. It's not curled over. My fingernails are touching the outside of the bell. What this actually does is lengthen our instrument. It makes it longer, so it controls the pitch and makes it a little lower, so it helps us not to be sharp. If you play with your hand outside of the bell, you'll be very sharp. This hand is a very important part of the instrument. Also, if you play with your hand too covered, the sound will often be muffled and tubby. And too far out or on this side of the bell will be sharp and kind of strident. So here's the correct hand position for the modern instrument. I'd like to tell you now about muting the horn. We mute the horn with a straight mute. This is a really nice straight mute. It's made by Balu, B-A-L-U, and the size of it, it's kind of a long mute, is called the Riddick style, but it sounds really great. It does not transpose the pitch at all, and it just changes the timbre, which is the sound quality or the tone color, and composers love that. So every brass instrument has a has a straight mute, like this one. Let me show you what it sounds like. This mute sounds good in the low register. Some other mutes, like the most common, is the least expensive mute. It's called a stone line mute, and it's red and white. That will do for high school, but it does not sound good kind of below middle C, so watch that. The next thing is stopping the horn. Now that is a technique that only horn players can do. And composers and film score writers love the sound of stopped horn. It can add a lot of eerie, scary quality. It can add, it's just a totally different color. So let me show you what that sounds like, stopped horn. That's often notated with just a plus sign, or in French, bouché. Actually, you have to look that up. I think that's, I'm not sure if that's stopped or muted. I sometimes have to check it myself, but it's one or the other, and it's not open horn. But stopped horn is usually a plus sign. And let me show you what stopped horn sounds like, and then I'll tell you how to do it. It's a very nasal sound, and you have to blow like crazy to make that sound good. What we're doing is actually stopping the air, and we want this much air to come out of the horn, which isn't very much. So we cover the bell, and then as much as you can, so you go from your nice hand position to a very covered, closed approach, and try to spread that hand out. So we're absolutely covering. When I first started, I didn't have enough cover. And then you blow the roof off. Now what happens when we stop the horn properly is the pitch goes up because we are shortening the horn to about here. The pitch goes up. So we need to finger down, and it goes up a half step. So we need to finger down a half step. So let me show you the same pitches, open and stopped. And you can see that I have to change my fingering. I had to press my half step valve. Now there's some controversy about this, but I teach that you always play on the F side when you're stopping, unless you find a note in the upper register that is a lot more secure and you can find a fingering on the B flat side that's in tune. But generally, we use the F side. The reason is the B flat horn is shorter. You can see underneath this, the first valve. See how much shorter that is than the F side first valve? The B flat horn is shorter than the F horn. So when we close and stop the B flat side of the horn with our thumb down, we raise the pitch 3/4 of a step because it's a shorter instrument. So proportionately, we raise it more. And we do not have a 3/4 stepped valve. So there's no surefire way to finger notes on the B flat side when you're stopping. So finger down a half step on the F side. Now there's something that makes stopped horn sound better and be a little easier, and that is this brass transposing mute. So we're the only instrument that has stopped and the only instrument that has this kind of a brass transposing mute. And this substitutes for the right hand. When you're playing low or need to play really loud, this works even better. And you can see how small it is at the top. So that's how much hand coverage you need when you don't have this mute. Let me show you what this sounds like. This is easy to use. Just put it in like that. Most good mutes have a wrist bracelet that help you from dropping your mute during a performance or a rehearsal, which is one of the most embarrassing things that can happen. It's happened to most of us once. And next reason is we don't have time to move from the correct hand position for open horn to switch really quickly to stopped horn. So let me show you what the mute, stopping mute sounds like. So you can hear just a little hint of some nice sound effects. I can tell you John Williams loves to use stopped horn in his Harry Potter film scores. It's all over the place. Just listen for it. So back to the straight mute. This one also has a wrist bracelet, which you really do need because there's not time, like I said, in a lot of cases to go from the regular hand position for open to stopped if you have to pick it up from the floor. And then take it out really quickly and get your hand in the right position. So that wrist bracelet is really helpful. Some of the cheaper mutes don't have it, and I just wouldn't spend the money for one without a wrist bracelet because you might not even have time to put it in, so you're defeating the purpose. I hope if you are able to play really fun repertoire with stopping and muting the horn. Thank you.